Haven't done a video in a couple of weeks, but just wanted to come with some updates on my houses. Now, if you've been kind of following my videos, you know that I'm right in the middle of a 3-house project. House number 1, where you can see the before and after video, you can click the link up here to check that one out. And we actually sold house number 2 for a nice payday, so you can check that video out here and see my family close the house together. So now we're on house number 3, and also the house that I was most excited to get to. But just as we had with the other 2 houses, we've got setbacks coming with this one too. Now, the first setback came with the notorious MLGW, or Memphis Light Gas and Water. And just a side note, if you plan on investing in Memphis, you have to go through Memphis Light Gas and Water, and there's no way around it because they have this weird monopoly on the city. So the issue came after we were trying to get the power cut on. We had already gone through all the necessary steps to have the house passed by code enforcement, but for whatever reason, and after talking to no less than 15 people, it took MLGW a month to actually get my electricity cut on. Now, the second issue came with my rehab guy, who actually came in to save the day with the last house that you saw in the before and after picture. But during that time where we had to wait for utilities to get cut on, he actually found a job working full-time, so he was unable to work during the day and could only do nights and weekends, which just wasn't going to give me enough time to do what I needed to do with the house. So what I did was actually reached out to a veteran investor who actually found me through one of my videos and asked him if he had anybody that he could recommend. So he sent a contractor over to check out the house. The contractor was working with a 3-man crew, and from the pictures and videos that I've seen of his work, he does a really good job. So we're about to go on the inside now. What they had to do was actually tear out the floors, but we're going to go in and check out some of the demo and see what kind of issues we're having under the house. All right, so let's go ahead and get right to it. This is the reason why. We have some joist and beams underneath the house that were rotted out just because of all the water. There was actually a big pool of water under the house that they had to drain, and I mean, it just wasn't good for the wood. So the floors are coming out. They've started on these, and then we're going to have to rebuild the floors and pretty much redo the entire bathroom. We got some other spots where the floors have to come out, and we'll go around to the second room, which is the master bedroom, and you can see here they started taking out all of these floors. Now the floors in here were also sinking in, so a lot of these joists and beams are going to have to be replaced. And I can't even get to the second floor bathroom, but the floors in there had to come out also. But if you can see down there, and I hope I don't drop my phone in it, but it's just a lot of water that's collected under the house in the crawl space, and all of that had to be drained out. All right, so we've got a plumber who's actually working down here at the house too, and he has to go underneath the house for all the pipes and everything. So let's see if we can go on the outside and check out the crawl space. All right, it might be kind of hard to see, but this is underneath the house, and you can see they've got their pump there where they had to get out all of that extra water just to get under there. Let's see if we can see around the inside, but you can see some of the joists under there, and a lot of that's got to be replaced so that we can redo the floors. All right, pretty much like I say every video, this is a learning experience. So all of these issues I didn't really expect when I bought the house, as far as dealing with a crawl space versus dealing with a house that sits on a slab. So it's something that we're just gonna have to go ahead and work through. Hopefully the transformation is gonna be unbelievable, just like the last house we did, but we're still pushing forward with this one. This one is the only thing that's setting me back from moving forward and purchasing new houses, because I need to go ahead and be done with all 3 of these houses so I can refinance and then get my private lending back in place so I can pick up some more houses. So that was going to be a really nice house when we finish with it. And it's good to know people who are in high places, because if I hadn't reached out, I really would have been lost as far as what to do on another good contractor. And a lot of times the good ones, they're pushed back a month or 2 on rehab projects, and they just don't have time to deal with some of the smaller investors. But hopefully we'll go ahead and build a good relationship with this one and get some more jobs done. All right, so I just left the house now, and I'm headed home to get some more work done. I'll go ahead and put this disclaimer on the video. By no means am I a guru at real estate. I'm the same as a lot of people. I'm trying to figure this thing out, learn as I go. But the biggest thing is I didn't want to wait to jump back in the game and try to get some deals done. So with that being said, I've made a lot of mistakes. I still make mistakes, but I try to learn from them. But the latest mistake that I've made, and I'm still kicking myself for doing it, is dropping the ball on my consistent marketing. So one of the golden rules when you're doing wholesale real estate, or really any type of real estate for that matter, is to keep your marketing consistent. Now, it really doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing, your mail outs, if you're doing bandit signs. And I really need to branch out into some more marketing avenues, but my main source of marketing right now is my cold calls and my virtual assistant. Now, my virtual assistant spends 30 hours a week calling potential sellers and is doing a phenomenal job at it. If you check out a couple of my other videos, you can see some of the ones that she's gotten into the company for me. But where I dropped the ball was already having my new calling list prepared for her. So we had to spend, it was somewhere around 2 to 3 weeks of her time for her to go through and filter about close to 3,500 names. It was actually a little bit over 3,500 names. But she had to go through, fill in the information that we needed in order to send it off to a skip tracer so that we can have the numbers. And just to be clear, that 3,500 names was actually what she came up with after she finished filtering everything. So we probably had close to, I'm not even sure, it was 10,000 plus leads, but a lot of it was junk that I don't even deal with. But this virtual assistant has been with me for a few months now and understands the ropes, knows the system pretty good. So what I went ahead and did was added another virtual assistant who comes in and does some additional cold calling for us. So while the first virtual assistant was still working on filtering out some names and everything, the second one was actually able to go ahead and start making calls on the list that she had finished. I trusted my first virtual assistant to train my second virtual assistant, and by her first full day of making calls, she had already set an appointment for me. So I'm excited about that. Another good thing about that is that me and my wife, we're actually going to go on vacation later on this week. So I have 2 assistants who I trust to go ahead and run the show while I'm gone, and we'll still have appointments being set. But I'll also be able to work remotely. We're going to be on a cruise ship, but I'll be able to use Skype. But the biggest thing is I'll be able to go off with my wife, enjoy some time, and the work will still be getting done behind the scenes. So now I've figured out a pretty good system as far as hiring quality virtual assistants. And I've got a great site that I use that is much better than Upwork.com, which is a site that a lot of investors and different companies like to use to find virtual assistants. But the one that I use, I prefer it. Whenever I put out a job application, I get just dozens of applicants for the job. So what I'll do for my next video is a site review of the website that I use to find my virtual assistants and kind of give you guys some tips and tricks for hiring quality people for your company. So guys, do me a favor, if you think that video will help, make sure you share and like this video. And if you want to, just go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section.
That's good.